So
another quick reminder: we will be previewing the whole World Cup next week on our show.
Yeah.
It's going to be our big World Cup extravaganza.
Yeah, sure. Because the week after, sure, we'll be previewing games. So
we will be previewing games. That's right. Yeah, exactly.
So it's really getting close now. We're definitely buzzing for
scary
it. Close. I know, and it's sure with teams being finalised and all kinds of spin and all the journal. Yeah. Oh, it was a funny old day and a half in terms of Irish media and reaction.
Yesterday was crazy. The media of all the squads being announced. It was just news. It was a crazy day.
Yeah.
to be
just having an ear to the ground on that one. It was a bit of a mental one, obviously, and there was so many stories come from it. But with that, I suppose we'll move on to our news of the week. And there was a few other bits of news outside of even the World Cup, in the game. And I suppose we'll have to take lead with rather a bad and disappointing story, which you may have heard yourselves. But Dyantyi obviously tested positive.
His B sample
this time, which he demanded to get tested. He was very much denying any wrongdoing or knowledge of how he failed the initial test. But now it turns out, yes, his B sample has been tested positive for steroids.
Yes.
Which leaves him facing a 4-year ban from the sport.
Jesus. It's such a killer. It's such, this is a guy, last time we saw him play, he was Breakthrough Player of the Year for the Springboks. He is, as they say, it was a South African governing body that caught him, that he had been tested 2 weeks prior and 2 weeks post, and it didn't come up in it. There are so many different things that you can extrapolate from that information. Like, is it true that it's generally doable to hide, steroid use from these places, or is it true that he maybe just took some stupid supplements or took some supplements that were laced with something? All possible. If maybe he was, bulling to get back fit and doing something ridiculous
too. Especially with the World Cup year, it can make you a bit reckless, I suppose. And if you're feeling like you're pushing it back from injury as he was. Maybe you want the extra help. I don't know. All of this is conjecture on our part. We definitely don't know.
It's hard to say. His statements seem genuine.
They did.
So did Michelle Smith and Lance Armstrong, as you've said in the past. But it sucks. It sucks that this guy is one of the most entertaining guys, and he's could be gone for 4 years. I'm sure there'll be a greater investigation into it and what the standard practices are. First of all, the professional enterprise around him, the Lions Rugby and South African Rugby. It is a South African watchdog that got him. It's not like a World Rugby intervention. I don't suspect that this is sort of... Although you don't know, we've had schoolboy scandals in South Africa. You don't know how common a practice it is, or even culturally how accepted it might be over there. But that's what got him. So it's. I feel like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I like him. I like him as a player. I like him as a guy. It's entirely possible that he just took some dodgy supplement that was laced with it and didn't even know. It's true that could be in it.
You've heard all kinds of stories of that kind of stuff happening. People applying cream and stuff to their if they get allergic reactions, applying cream that actually does have steroids in it, and stupidly were in that instance failing tests as well. It could be something like that. Also, it could just be more sinister than that, which is why proper investigation has to happen. And should the ruling be found against him, even though he's a stellar world-class player, he deserves to be banned for 4 years.
Ultimately, he's going to bear the responsibility for what was in his body.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if intent is going to come into it, but I suspect that he didn't intend to. Just by suspect, it is conjecture, but I just suspect. And I feel bad for him, and I feel bad for rugby, because he was Breakthrough Player of the Year. He's one of the most exciting players in the sport.
Sure, we were still hoping against hope that he'd make the plane, and so that's definitely not happening now, and it's rather a black cloud over what has been a glittering career for him so far. But this is definitely
what do you do for 4 years? You're invested in the game of rugby union, and you're out of it for 4 years.
Try your hand in NFL. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's not good news, but it's so we I suppose there's nothing more to say about it, because I don't want to talk in terms of spin about it. I don't want to just kind of spitball as to what may have happened or cast aspersions on him, because nothing that we know. We've just been following the story as it's been breaking. We don't know what intent was there. But it's definitely, all I do know is that it's a bummer, and it's bad news, and it's just unfortunate. But in slightly better news, Aaron Cruden set to return to the Chiefs.
Yeah, good. Failed. I mean, take the money and run for Montpellier.
Yeah,
they didn't do anything for you except pay you a good bit of money, so
that's worthwhile enough.
Yeah,
he'll be grateful for it. But he'll be working with Warren Gatland. That's interesting too.
Yeah, go back to them Chiefs and give them a 10.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Listen, I'm excited to see it. I
hopefully,
don't know if
hopefully that Montpellier juice hasn't got into his bloodstream.
He's certainly not playing to All Black level at the moment.
No, he's not.
But he could come into that Chiefs team and add value.
Definitely.
And we know he has it in him to play to All Black level. So
yeah, it would be nice to see him get a return to form and just to return to a proper pace of playing, because that Montpellier team were very slow.
He's going to stay on with Montpellier as a medical joker for the end of the World Cup.
Yeah,
we had heard that news already, but he's going back to Super Rugby in the new year, and that's confirmed going to the Chiefs. Awesome, his old school team, the team that I like most of the Kiwi teams. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that. That is a good news story. Good to see some Kiwi talent returning home.
Absolutely, yeah. It's because it's more often than it's the other way around, and it's more of a negative spin to be putting on it. But this is good.
Yes.
And then in other disappointing news, just from where we're coming from, it is just a bummer. Christian Wade, despite all his promise, has been cut from the Buffalo Bills in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's a ruthless game. I mean, they cut like 30 players from their outward squad. These teams tend to stick with the guys they know and trust. Mm-hmm. He is actually staying on, I think, in a training squad capacity, but I don't even know how relevant the trailing squad is to their NFL season. But he could be picked up in the next couple of weeks, I think, by another team if they need someone.
Sure.
I hope he is. I just feel I feel gutted for him, because it's the same story as his club form, in the sense that he's playing at a lower level and he's class. Every opportunity he gets, he's class. Yeah. Every play that he gets to play in front of the crowd at the big stage, he's unreal. And then for sort of statistical reasons, say, and you're actually quite small, and you're 0 to 60 or whatever, that's car speed, but whatever, your 10-second sprint is not quite at the level, and all these stats things and training things, and he just write you off without giving you a go. And every go he gets, he's class in both sports, in both rugby and NFL. So I wish that they'd given him a go in the big time, and I'm sure that if they had, he would have got some plays off. He's a slippery mofo. Like, he's tough.
Yeah, no, it is disappointing. Obviously, we've had that before with rugby. I can't remember your man's name. The rugby league guy who's from Australia, I believe.
He kind of screwed up though.
He did.
He had a couple of bad plays.
Yeah, for sure.
Christian Wade just getting written off for being small again.
Yeah, I know. It's been a career of that. It's been fair play to him for making the switch, going through the combine process, getting as far as he did, looking good all the way. And it's just a bummer for him that he's cut now. Obviously, it's the deviation from rugby, but like Christian Wade is still a rugby story in this context. And whenever a rugby player makes the switch to NFL, to American football, I really wanted to see them go well. I in fact want to see them light it up, and part of me really wants to see them make an absolute mug of everyone else in that league, because I really, really want to see that happen at some point. Like I'm waiting for the day that like a load of South African kickers are brought in to be kickers as well.
Way better kickers than all of those.
All of that stuff. I want to see the rugby skills pay dividends on the football field. And
you never know.
He was potential for that.
But I was planning on having the Bills as my second team, and I now wish them nothing but misfortune.
Yes, indeed. Especially I hope their running backs get nothing off all season.
Yeah, exactly.
And poor Christian Wade.
Poor Christian, to be
honest. We're fans on the podcast. We're definitely big fans of him. We've seen him play a few times. Like we had Leinster and Wasps was a matchup that happened a few years in a row while he was there, and he always scored tries against us. Like even in losing efforts from them, he was always getting plays off. He's a danger man.
Quality player.
Yeah, so I can't but respect him, and it's a tough old game over there. It's pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
And then in just a final little bit of news, we have a couple of players, Kepu and Louis Picamole, are set to retire from the international game post World Cup.
Yeah, very familiar faces over the last decade or so in terms of their perennial
to the
stalwarts for their nations.
Yeah, absolutely. Two absolute talisman for them as well, and certainly in the case of Kepu, he's pretty vital to their chances as far as keeping that scrum going.
Not to mention, he's Taniela Tupou has come into the fray these days as well, but Kepu has a underrated open field game.
He does, he gets around.
He does.
He's very useful in the loose. In fact, as a prop, as one of the fatties, he's one of those modern fatties who can really shift
like a horse. And he can move. Yeah, for sure.
And then Louis Picamole as well is just a destructive element. Like when he's on form, he has a touch of like what. annoys me. He's very French. Is like sometimes he'll do put on his invisibility cloak in
which Louis Picamole shows up is as relevant a question as which France shows up.
It's true.
Sometimes he just doesn't, but when he does, he's
in
awesome.
that essence he is a talisman, and like pretty much like in that mold. Like if he turns up to play on the big day, that whole French team can get going based off a few big plays that he can make, and he's very, very physical in massive matchups. He's still a massive man. So it'll be a last hurrah for him at the World Cup in terms of his international career, and it's been a glittering one for him, to be fair.
Hopefully they both get to send off in some style,
for sure. But I suppose that's it now. That's all the news we got.
As we approach and arrive at the 2 hour mark, I think time to wrap up the show. World Cup is getting closer and closer. These are the last games. We are into World Cup month. September 3rd as we shoot this, September 4th I suspect as we upload it.
Yes, that's right.
All of these games upcoming on the Friday Saturday I should say. And just a quick reminder, obviously always to like and comment in particular, sharing, belling,
all of that stuff,
subscribing, doing all of that, and then be sure to stay to tune in next week when we'll be doing our full
preview
World
show,
Cup
which will be a nice long form one. We'll get into all the groups, break down all of them individually, get a few predictions going. Who's gonna light it up? Maybe get a few bolter conversations as well. There's a lot to talk about, obviously. And this is the last hit out before the World Cup actually happens. So it's exciting times for any rugby fan.
Totally.
Yeah. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching that video. If you're new here, please like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well, because we enjoy the chat and conversation. Thank you.